Chat can confirm that I am back. Maybe. Okay, it looks like I might be going. Give it a second. Yeah, it looks like my video preview looks like it's right. So I'm just going to have to I'm going to have to assume that it's going okay until, well, I guess I'll just assume it does unless chat says otherwise. Um, okay, make sure all my stuff's in order. All right, let's get started. So hi, I'm Joshua. Today is March 5th, 2017, and today I am working on my video game Delver. For those of you who do not know, Delver is a procedural dungeon crawler with fantasy, roguelike, and first-person shooter elements. Um, Delver is a passion project. There are two of us working on it. This is not our full-time job. We work on this in our free time as we have time. We're trying to get it finished. We've been working on it for about 4 years now, and we're just pushing hard to finish it up this year. It is in early access on Steam, so if you go to delvergame.com, right behind my head, you can see a link to the Steam page if you're into early access. We also have a Humble widget if that's your thing. The Humble build is a little behind. I think it's a couple updates behind the Steam build. So if you want the latest and greatest, Steam is probably the best way to do it. But buying through Humble should get you a Steam key. Okay, cool. I think that's the start off spiel. Let's just go ahead and take a look at what we've done over this past week. I know for my part, it's been a pretty slow week. For a while, I had a lady who was watching my, because for those of you who don't know, I am a stay-at-home father. So the majority of my time is just parenting my son. And for a few months, I had a lady who was watching my son a couple days a week so I could work. That was really excellent and really productive, but she is no longer able to watch my son, so my productivity has kind of tanked, to be honest with you. I just, watching him, 12, 14 hours a day, and after that, it's just hard to find the energy to keep on going. But this week he starts daycare at a proper daycare, so I should have time again to crank during the week on Delver. So let's do real quick to get status. So we are up to date. Let's just do git log with some pretty printing, so it's easy to digest on stream. Oh, come on, copy, paste. So just to git log one line since 1 week ago. And okay, maybe the chat has been crazy busy, which is awesome. We'll kind of go over some of the changes and we'll kind of play around with them. So, hey Louis. So Louis Carl is on chat. He is the guy helping with the French translation, and then Javier is doing the Spanish translation. Also, hey to Mr. Taters and Konato K. Thanks for popping by the stream. So it looks like fixing a null ref. So it's probably something I introduced, but just wrapping. You gotta be careful when you're accessing, properties on items that potentially could be null. You gotta check that. Fix for beginnings not being generated properly after death. So beginnings are a special room on a dungeon section that only appears at the start of a section. which is useful because if you want to have like a multi-layer dungeon section, so like for example in the first area in Delver is Dungeon 1, Dungeon 2, but the first room of the first floor of dungeons can be is pulled from this beginnings room area. So it looks like there was something wrong with that Chad fixed up. Cleaning up the gun hit decals, which is pretty cool. So don't try to paint a stair tile when no material is given. That's going on with some of the sci-fi tile set I was working on. You have to specify a you can mark tiles as exits. So you got to be careful when handling that. The splash screen info is now data driven in the splash.dat. That's cool. Let's take a peek at that. Okay, cool. So this allows you to define a custom splash. Let me see, where is this actually consumed? Splash.dat. There we go. So what type of object is this? This is splash screen info, which is a string. So it might be nice eventually to have some camera data in here, because right now we kind of hard code the camera position and rotation, and that might be nice for folks to change. But yeah, if you fire up the editor, you should be able just to take a look at. So file open. It should be levels. I think it's called templesplash.bin. And this is, I think I have put the camera roughly. Oh, is that a camera? It is a camera! Yay! How beautiful is that? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Man, Chad is all over it. Yeah. So this is the splash level that you see when you launch Delver, and that this camera is kind of down here, kind of looking up at the. Yeah, it's kind of framing the temple like that, which is I had to do by hand originally, which is a real pain. But now that we have this nice object, we can just you can create your own splash screens, and you can kind of position that however you like. And this is good for mods. Like if you're doing a total conversion, I know Seven Soul or Enrique, he was doing a total conversion, which he had a custom splash screen, so it'd be nice for him to define that and have a better way of setting that up. So that's cool. Nice. Let me see. Yep. Static. Yep. Next check-in. So the level positions are given by camera entity, which is really cool. Camera entity draw frustum in the editor, which is super useful. Refactoring part of camera animation. Oh, so if you notice on the start screen, the camera does kind of pan back and forth a little bit, just to give a little bit of motion. Okay, oh cool. Now all the splash screen cameras are data driven. So overlay size is driven by UI. Okay, cool. So he fixed the UI stuff. HUD text positioning, nice. Fixing possible crash on map screen. Okay. Refactoring map overlay stuff. So yeah, I guess we've been kind of going over this design decision. Like, should we pause when you open the map or not? Because we don't pause on the inventory screen. Pardon me, but we do pause on the map screen. So I'm kind of curious to hear what you folks think about that. Attempting to fix an overlay bug or a mouse cursor not displaying sometimes. Yeah, I noticed somebody was saying on the Steam forums that sometimes the mouse cursor disappears, and they troubleshooted it to them having a game controller plugged in also. And it was the combination of having a game controller plugged in but using a mouse and keyboard. So maybe that's something we can look into to try to resolve why the mouse cursor sometimes disappears. Fixed case where main menu wasn't loading background level. Trigger that wins loses game. So that's cool. Again, this is good for mod support. So again, if you want to have do a total conversion and you don't want to use the orb, you can certainly just use these triggers to trigger a win or loss condition. And this one is cool here. The first test of stencil shadow. So a lot of these commits after this are going to be around these stencil shadows, which is kind of a cool way to get basically like how old 2D games had drop shadows. It's kind of how we're using this. So yeah, so stencils for dynamic entities, the shadow settings are controlled by the entity. Refactoring shadow rendering, option turn shadows on or off. Shadows colors are bluish instead of pure black. So yeah, Chad picked a really nice color. Again, I try to avoid pure blacks, pure whites. Not as a hard and fast rule, but generally I think it looks a little bit more interesting if you don't if you kind of stray away from those. At least for Delver's look, that's kind of the guidelines I've gone with. There are games that do use pure white and pure black, and they look awesome. But just as a small kind of little heuristic for myself. Shadows cast in the editor, rotate with meshes, fit the bounding boxes. This is really cool. It allows you to kind of preview what this stuff looks like. Rectangle shaped shadows. Performance tweaks for shadows, only draw and frustum. Nice, that's important. Okay, fixed case of game progression not being hit on quit, which is good. Arrows of shadows, which is cool. Shadows affected by entity scale, which is good. Adding shadows to entities and levels. So he must have done that. Cool. You probably went through the levels by hand and added shadows, which, like, if you have the prefab system, this is why that's so nice, is you change the prefab and everything gets it. In some of our older levels, we don't use prefabs. We just have instances of entities, and then you have to go back through and fix all those when you make changes like this. Firewall explosion mixed decals in all directions, which is cool. Torch sounds are data-driven, which is nice. Yeah, so that way if you want to have a torch that doesn't look or sound like a torch, that is possible to do. Let me see what else. No, position sounds pan properly between your ears, so that's good. Looks like Chad added halos for torches, which is kind of like the opposite of of the little blob shadow is a blob light that gets projected onto the walls, which is pretty cool. A light halo size can be set for light. Ooh, I haven't played with that property yet. Health items can have halos, and then I went through and I made the halos low res. So I'll kind of pop into the editor real quick and I'll show you what this stuff is. I think it's cool. I think it looks nice. So what it is now, if I add let's just say like a sword, items now have a little drop shadow, which is pretty cool, and it just uses a volume to kind of figure out like what the shadow should look like, and it's a cool trick because if you make the volume of the shadow different shapes, you can get it to do different things. So for example, like this shadow is basically a cone. So this basically simulates a drop shadow just being farther from from an item, or from an item being farther from the floor. So if I hit play, this should fall to the ground, and then that does everything is nice and dynamic, and it works like you expect it to. So you have nice little drop shadows on entities, but you can also have drop shadows on bigger things. So I think like if we go to breakables and then crates, I think it should have a drop shadow as well now. And if you notice, it has a rectangular drop shadow, which is an option on the item. So here there should be let me see, a shadow property somewhere. Let me try just a more basic entity. I thought I saw it appear on like a note. No, Joshua. Today's going to be a shorter stream, just so you know. I've been gone away all weekend, and I want to spend time with my family. And that's why I started the stream late too. Is just kind of running behind today. Yeah. So the shadow type here, it's on visual. So visual. Yeah. There we go. Shadow type. So you can have a shadow type of none, which means it doesn't cast a shadow. So this could be good for things that cast light. Things that cast light generally don't have shadows because they're the light source. Duh. From what I understand, these shadows are pretty cheap. They just use the stencil buffer. They use a volume to figure out the shadows that should be cast. We have blob, and then we have rectangle. Again, this is just the rectangle is just nice for some entities that are just rectilinear in shape, whereas the blob is nice for items that are just kind of just generally smallish. It could be kind of approximated with a round shadow. Also, if we place entity light torch, they now have a halo effect. So if you hit play, you can see, like on the ceiling here, similar effect, but instead of being a shadow, it's just like a highlight. And again, it uses a volume to approximate this, which is pretty cool. The Chad's initial, so basically what it is it's just geometry that we let's see. Again, I'm not entirely like I could read up on it, but I think file imports. I think it just uses a stencil buffer to figure out the intersection of the shadow volume and the level geo. So if I just import this OBJ file and we look at shadows like blob. Let me move this to its own layer so we can kind of see what's going on here. So all it is really is it is a cone. So mesh cone. It's really terribly not that complicated, but it is a nice little trick. So let's rotate it 180 degrees. And we're gonna just kind of move it down on the z-axis. And then grab this one vertex and just pull it down. There we go. And so for example, let's just hide this. And then if we file, export, OBJ, and I want selection only. I don't care about materials. And I want to triangulate this. And then if I shadows, blob, export. So now if I run the editor, you'll see what happens. And this was Chad's initial implementation, and it worked great. But for those of you who know me, I really like the lo-fi chunky look, so I wanted to kind of push that wherever we could. But let's get that basic. Note. So this, if you wanted a little bit more like of a higher res, higher fidelity kind of drop shadow, this is a good way to approximate it. You still get the same kind of effect because the geo on this cone is just there's more verts. They're a little bit more densely packed around the edges. It creates a little bit more nice of a round shadow, which for some games that's probably probably great and fine, but for Delver, I wanted the jagged shadows. But I guess a nice side effect is you can get something like this. This is a really cool thing too, because of the shape of the cone being cast. You get these little things where we may need to tweak the size of this, but like you can get these cases where they cast a little bit of a shadow over the edge, which is cool. So what I did is I went in and in Blender they just have like a modifier system, which a lot of 3D modeling programs do. And particularly they have a modifier called Remesh, And this is typically used if you have a very high polygon, high vertice, high triangle count, however you count your models. You can use this to kind of retopologize your models down to something a little bit more manageable. And there are some different methods of doing that. So I use the one called blocks, which basically kind of voxelizes it. And then if you look over here, they use an octree to kind of figure out what's inside and outside. And you can just play around with like the depth of the octree, and then I fiddled with the scale to try to find a shape that looked good, which is how I ended up with how I ended up with the one I did. Basically, I tried to get a shape that would look like the same one that if I would draw if I were pixeling it. And then, it just kind of does all the hard work of getting, these volumes. And then I just exported that out as an OBJ, so I can just discard those changes. And yeah, if I were to launch it again, we would get our nice, like pixely shadows, which is cool. So entity basic, note, and there we go. We get our nice little pixely shadow, which I think works pretty well, just for a quick little hack. If I rotate it, what does it do to the shadow? Nothing. Cool. Yeah. So that's nice. Let me. So if you're new to the stream, let me go ahead and play some Delver. Though I think I need to uninstall the gun mod. I think I have that just installed in my. I do. So let's not play Delver with guns. Let's just play vanilla Delver for a little bit. Kind of see how the new stuff. Some of these new changes are looking. And I'll kind of talk through what we're working on. Yeah, so you can see here the little the halos of the light are lighting up the geo around these braziers, which is pretty cool. Hey, Chad! Oh, you just missed me explaining me making this thing to get the nice approximations of pixel volume shadows. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the Cuttigun who just joined in the chat there is the other person working on Delver. He is the original creator. He is lead engineer, business, whatever I don't do, he does. So I primarily do all the 2D and 3D stuff. Some level design, a little programming when I can get away with it. Yeah, so we got the little, it looks like there's a little bit of self-shadowing there. I'm not sure how we can get away from that unless we kind of really play with the Y offsets. Yeah, no, I want to try to make it look. I mean, it's not. I try to make sure that it's roughly the same res as the surrounding geo, which I think it kind of does. It's not perfect. And here we see some weird artifacts because I think what's happening is we are getting an intersection of a cube and this volume, but the cube is at an angle. So we get weird artifacts like this, which aren't super desirable, but I think it's kind of okay. I don't know if it's a deal breaker or not. But yeah, no, I also noticed, Chad, when I pause the game, I get really bad perf issues now with these volumes or with the halos and the shadows added. So that might be something we need to look into, because yeah, when I pause, these still kind of go, but they're chugging, and like my system, it takes a while for me to unpause it. So we should probably look into that. But yeah, I think it definitely, again, we're just adding lots of these little touches, like the little dust puffs, the little drop shadows, kind of help ground, real stuff into the scene. Yeah, this is the starting area. It's a little campfire. You buy stuff from these folks. They tell you stories, and then you head into the dungeon, which is where I'm going. So it is procedural. So every time you play, the layout's going to be a little different. The loot is going to be different. The monsters you encounter will be in different places. What else? Cool. And I think also too, I think these drop shadows really help indicate like you can pick up the bone, but you can't pick up the mushroom. And I think these drop shadows will really help kind of help differentiate what's interactive and what is not interactive. So again, we're on this side. Got some steak. Sweet. There we go. Oh, I didn't even notice. I have a drop shadow. That's cool. I guess that makes sense. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. That's very cool. Nice. Note. Here we go. I'm very suspicious that there's somebody nasty down here. There we go. There we go. Missile wand. That's nice. Okay. Speed build. Oof. Let's get some poison trap that poor bat got caught up in. Okay. Let's let the bat be poisoned for a while. Nice, nice. Cool. So yeah, I think I'll start doing a little bit of work as soon as I hit the stairs down or I die, whichever happens first. Oh, lots of bad guys here. There we go. Ooh, fire wand. That's a surefire way, a good way for me to kill myself. Yep, level down, arrow. Sweet. Yeah, I like it. It's a good touch. Yeah, no. Having your own shadow does help you feel more, I guess, grounded in the scene. And also, yeah, Chris points out very, very rightly that bats, like flying enemies, having a shadow makes it much easier for you to kind of figure out how far off the ground they are, which is very helpful. Because sometimes, like it is a little ambiguous. Cool. So yeah, so let me see. Let me take a look at our issues on this milestone and see how much is left to be done. And also, let me take a look at my example mods repo too, because I know some folks have some pull requests and issues out there. I need to go through those and make sure that they are taken care of. So issues, milestones, March. So let me see. Steam Workshop support. So it looks like cool. So I think I can close this one, Chad. I think our Steam Workshop support is okay for the time being. At least if there's any bugs we need to fix, we can file bugs for those. But I think I'm comfortable saying that we have Steam Workshop support going. So I will close this issue. Cool. Let's go back to the milestone. So fire system. What do we want to do on the fire system? Smoke, small fire. This might, I don't know. Let me push it out to the next milestone. I might just want to do some nice little like polish work, but nothing super critical. So issues, milestones, March. We have this general UI experience improvement. It's kind of a, I don't know if this might not be. This is a very vague work item, and I don't know. We might cut it because, it would be better to have or make child issues of this so we have more concrete things to work on. I'll think about that one. So undo editor crashes if nothing to undo. Is this fixed or no? Let me try. Edit, undo, and it crashes. Okay. Continue. Yeah, I was tweaking some stuff with the localization, so let me just undo all these breakpoints. Then edit, undo. So history is an empty array. We're trying to get pos of 0. History size greater than pos plus 1. So okay, so I need to make sure that we need to just do a check to make sure that we're not exceeding the bounds of this history array, which I'm pretty sure this is just an array of something, of bytes. Okay. So history size. What is history size out of curiosity? History.size. Oh, it's a property, not a method. Oh, come on. 0. Okay. So I need to do something like if maybe I'll let Chad fix this one, because it looks like we return a level, and I don't want to, because I don't necessarily want to get too much into it. But yeah, it is still an outstanding issue. Sprite Beam should support atlases. I know Chris was asking about this. I'm not sure if I can just add a Sprite Beam in Delve Edit. Let me see if there is an option to do so. There might not be. I think that's usually something you attach to another Sprite Beam. Okay, so basic Sprite Beam. Cool. Yeah. So let's jump into here. Yeah, so that is, okay. So a Sprite Beam is generally attached to entities. And I think we use it for things like you probably can't see it because it's probably so short, but there should be a little trail following the projectile, and these get attached to that. If I choose a different atlas, so let's say I don't know, can we get the no? So yeah, so it's not honoring the it's hard coded to a specific atlas, which is why it looks weird when I pick these. So yeah, it's expecting, yeah, and this probably is because I got outside the size of the atlas, so we need to, that still needs to be fixed, so that repros. Yeah, so it looks like we still have some issues, and some issues to fix, but not really a lot of features in this this upcoming update. So we're shooting for releasing the workshop update this month. We've had a few folks helping us out, and it seems like so far the workflow from getting stuff through Delve Edit out into the workshop is working okay. I have got some feedback, so we're trying to kind of fold that in and make the experience better. But I should be able. Actually, let me poke around there and see if I can actually see stuff out on the workshop. We have it flipped off, but because I'm a developer, I should be able to see stuff out there. So my files. There we go. Workshop. Come on, there we go. Can I do most recent? Most subscribed. Popular. Items. Has to be, there's a way I can see everybody's home. Items. There we go. Cool. So it looks like Chris has a couple of mods out here, which is really sweet. A crossbow and a Hyperlight Delver mod, which is cool. Louis Carl has the Delver in Francais, which is nice. It looks like a few other folks are kind of playing around. So this is cool. So there is some stuff out there, and I should be able to just click here, and I can subscribe to it, and that will pull down the French translation for Delver, which is really cool. I was talking to Louis this weekend about perhaps providing just a template for the language packs, so they kind of look similar, so folks can kind of maybe more easily navigate the workshop looking for these language packs. So what to do? So I guess I've confirmed that we still have some bugs on Delver proper. Oh yeah, let's look at my example repo. So if you go to github.com/JoshuaScaley/Delver-example-mods, this is where I'm putting out the mods that people can use for examples to kind of as a starting point. So I have this character stray pack is kind of a way to create items. This dungeon section generator, generic template is a good kind of boilerplate starting point for making just dungeon sections, and this is kind of just the basics, the very minimal stuff you have to set for a dungeon section to kind of work with the new dungeon system to be integrated into all the levels, which is pretty cool. There is the gun mod, which adds guns, which is pretty hilarious. Here's the language pack ENUS. So these are the English strings that we ship with Delver. The README also has some information here about like what the properties of these localized strings are. And I recently added a little bit of a description for this form and forms property to kind of better clarify what and how they're used. And I used Javier's. I just ripped it out of his work because it was a good example. Oh nope, too far. And then also Louis' French translation also lives out here, and I think he submitted a pull request to me. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, so it looks like he updated the strings.dat and first pass on localized notes character dialog. Cool. So looks like 7 files changed. Yep. So camp note. Those look cool. Looks good. Yep. And then the strings.dat is pretty big, but again, it should just be comment. Looks like he's just going through using the form and forms. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and I'll just accept his pull request. Thanks, Louis. Nice. And then Javier has some issues out here that let me take a look at and see what's going on. Trying to assign base mods to some weapons, but as soon as I add the base mod property, the item fails to load the JSON file. Check the JSON file with validator is correct, but it fails to load anyway. So the base mods should let me take a look. Let me just close all. Let's open up items.dat. I think if I look at base mod. So you should just be able to define a base mod like this, where it is an object that has properties. Let me look at all of those. So Javier says it might be better if I install the mod in his repo. Yeah, we can go take a look at his repo. Let me see. I think I know how to do that. I can look at, how do I look at forks? Forks. Javier. So yeah, there we go. Delver example mods. Javier Lecotes. Does it live here? More items. There we go. Kite shield. Ooh, cool. Oh man, Javier, this is a cool looking stuff. Yeah, I think you previewed it a little bit to me last stream. Oh, and he's adding the big weapons, the long ones. Nice. Data, items, base mods. That looks right. Uh-oh, what are you are you telling on yourself, Javier? What's that all about? Okay, let's just try. Yeah, let's just grab his mod and then just play around with it and see if we can figure out what's going on. So I'm going to just download. Right, let's open this up and all right. He has this more items mod, so I'm just going to just drop this into my mods directory. Maybe. This is the current model of how Delver modding works. Is you create a mods directory next to your Delver binary, and then you drop these mod directories in there, and we'll load them and you get to play with the mods. But the upcoming Steam Workshop will make this much easier, where it will basically Steam handles the downloading of the mod files, and we just look out there and see what's been installed. So if I run desktop, Javier is saying he's having issues with. Those work, but not in weapons. What do you mean not in weapons? You have another? Is there another? Did I miss more items? Is this not correct? Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's still a bit of a issue there, so forgive that. So if I look, it looks like items, data, items, and then one of these things that has a base mod on it. Armor, those should be fine. Oh, he's saying the base mod's property doesn't work on weapons. Curious. They ought to, but let's try it. Move speed. Quit. Come on. There we go. Just open up Visual Studio Code, and I'll just add it on a weapon and see what happens. So let's look at File, Open Folder, Repositories, GitHub, Delver, Engineer, Mod, Select. There we go. So more items, data items. So just he has a iron iron short sword because apparently we forgot that. So let's add a comma and then Control V. And then Louis was saying that VS Code actually can do some verification of JSON. Is there a selection, edit? You're saying there's some key combination I could hit to make it do some of that the nice stuff. Oh, okay. So Chad's confirming that the weapons don't have a base mod property. Yeah, it might be nice for all items to have it, like all equipable items to have that, maybe. Okay, yeah. So that's not there. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Louis Carl says Alt-Shift-F to do JSON beautification in Visual Studio Code, which is helpful. So if I Control N, let's look at armor, the thing, and base mods. Yeah, so it looks like the item modification base mods is unique to armor. Find usages. Yeah, so it has so for other items you can do them as enchantments, but you can't do them as base mods. Looks like, yeah. So I think that might be the reason. So if you look at my mod for this character story pack, I think I worked around this by I created an enchantment type or item modification that I attach as a prefix enchantment, which is it's not a great solution. It would be nice just to be able to apply these just to have a base mod to any item, but yeah, I was using the prefix or just regular enchantments. And maybe if we get a better way of doing this, I'll come back to this mod and kind of clean it up a little bit. Okay, let me see. All right, so I think I have about 10 minutes left on my stream. Apologies again for a short stream today. But I have been away all weekend and I've just got home and I want to do a quick stream just to let you know I haven't forgotten about you and we are working on Delver and I want to talk to you about the exciting cool stuff that we are plugging away on in Delver. I think I'm going to play just a little bit more Delver and I'll go ahead and I'll play it with Javier's weapons because that would be cool. So let me just get rid of that. And yeah, let's play some Delver with Javier's more items. And again, so these last 10 minutes or so, feel free to ask questions about anything that's is about Delver, game development, art, programming. I'm kind of an open book. Cool. Let's snag this candle. Let's put it in our hand. Yeah, so I can cast halos and shadows now. I'm a whole person. That's kind of cool though. I was also wondering, Chad, that maybe this light halo, it looks like right now that the light halo color is hard-coded, and I'm wondering if we should actually use the color of the light source as a factor. I'm okay with the shadows being hard-coded in color. Ooh, that looks really nice. Pretty. Just a thought. Okay, let's zap. Oh, zap that guy. Okay, can I line you guys up? Trying to line up the bat and that guy, but just not successful. Ouch. Speed done. Okay, purple potion. Oh, so yeah, so here you can see the sprite beams that are attached to this magic trap as it kind of streaks across. Maybe. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty quick. But yeah, that would be nice to have it so users can define which atlas to pull from. Cool. It is nice to see the candles flicker when I get close to walls. It's a nice little touch. Let me grab a bow. So I think Chad said that arrows also cast shadows, so that would be a cool thing to see. I'm kind of curious to see how they behave when I stick an arrow into the wall. Woo, that was a good sword. Ah, crap. Ooh, there we go. Ooh. Having an okay run. Crap. Zombie. Yeah, I noticed these swords of heft. They're super fast. They're like crazy fast. Which is cool. I guess I never realized it. So, ooh, excellent armor of the snake. It looks like the shadows play pretty well together. Let me see. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that seems to be good. This way. Ah! I should have saw that coming. A lucky dagger. Ah, okay, that's fine, Chad. No worries then. So it looks like Chad fixed some issues while while I was streaming, which is really cool. Looks like he added it looks like he fixed the sprite beam atlases and he fixed the weapon base mods, which is really cool. And he fixed the edit undo crash. So that's been a super quick turnaround. That's awesome. That's really cool. Crap. Okay. Help defense. Those guys have a really long reach too. Cool. Yeah, I'm really digging this halo trick. It's a pretty nifty trick to get some nice, just faked shadows and highlights. I am digging it. And again, I like the fact that it makes it easier to call out what people can interact with and what they cannot. A not so secret door. Yeah, no, I think these shadows are going to be just fine. Ooh, an excellent iron axe. All right, Javier, I got one of your babies. Chop. How much damage does it do? 7 to 12, which is not bad. Not bad at all. I'm glad I ran across some of your stuff, which is very cool. All right, getting here a little short on time. Let me spawn in some arrows and just see how they play along with the with the shadows. So let's just... Interesting. Okay, there we go. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it makes sense. They're just how close they are to the ground, of course, and they move so fast. It'll be kind of hard to. I mean, you can't see them move on the ground, which is nice. It's just they're quick. Can't get mad at them for that. Cool. What if I just... Oh, I broke it. I broke it. Yeah, if you just lob a little one to the ground, that looks nice. Cool. I think the exit must be this away. Where'd my axe go? Let's find some guys to whack with this axe. So it's a swipe, and then the heavy is a chop. Cool. Very nice. There we go. There we go. I don't want to slow me down. I gotta go fast. Speed. Faster, faster, faster. Yep. Ooh, a short sword of paralyze. Fortunately, with the weapon durability, these are nerfed a little bit because otherwise, in the current version, paralyzed weapons are crazy overpowered. Also, cool. Yeah, and another lantern. Yeah, again, I don't know if I think like lanterns and I guess lanterns would probably cast shadows just because of the way the bottom of that is. You have to be kind of careful about what things can cast both light and shadows because that's a pretty small intersection of things that can actually do that. So yeah, I agree, Javier. Those axes look really nice. Especially get a nice little chop and bam. And yeah, Javier just looks like he used the Delver palette, so they fit in really nice. So he balanced the axes with swords. So axes have one less min damage and one more max damage. Have you played around at all with the attack animations or their swing speed? Yeah, it looks like these tables have blob shadows, and I think the tables probably ought to have rectangular shadows. But again, this is one of the instances where these are not prefabs. I created them all as instances, which is my bad. Because you should be able to smash it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So if I wanted to do something like this, and maybe that. I think a tanker would hit me in the head. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. There we go. All right, no, good work, Javier. I was hoping to see more of your stuff, but I guess the loot drop system doesn't always, like, you can't really rely on it to spit out the stuff you want it to. Let me real quick. I think he added shields. Maybe it's okay. Armor 1. No. Okay. Armor 5. Gilded shield. Nice. Very cool. And he also provided, like, the shields can have items can have different held textures. So it looks like he provided a nice backing for the shield, which is really cool. I think the shield does slow you down, which most armor does and should in Delver, just to kind of balance out protection versus maneuverability, which is very cool. Yeah, I like it. The thing I would crit is on the shield. Typically, Delver, the items have sell out. So if you look on the axe, you correctly have like the nice dark outlines on the axe, but on the shield, the outermost outline of the shield is lighter. And I might want to tweak that just to be darker. But I'm liking it. It's definitely something that is not is something you don't normally see in Delver, but it looks like you got things hooked up pretty nicely. Yeah, and I am so excited when you folks start adding your stuff out to the workshop. Oh man, I'm kind of hoping there's just this crazy explosion of just new things to be found in Delver, because you folks could think of crazy stuff that Chad and I simply just probably won't think of, and not. Oh, cool. So, yeah, so he's making a Spartan set, which is cool. Um, cool. So let me see. I think this is a good point to kind of sign off here. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you specifically. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching my stream. Thank you for hosting my stream if you do that. Thank you for purchasing the game. Buying Delver directly supports Chad and I, and it lets us um, put more time into making this thing that we love better. Um, like, we will continue to work on it and make it better until we release it, independent of how much money it makes. But like, that stuff does help. Also, if you share it with your friends who you think might like it, that also helps too. We don't really do any traditional marketing. We kind of rely on word of mouth. Let's Players have been really kind to us. So again, thank you all for supporting me. Again, apologies for a short stream today. Next Sunday, I should be back to my normal stream schedule. I'll probably do a nice long stream next week. And hopefully, now that my son is starting daycare this week, I'll have a couple of extra days, maybe crank on some cool Delver stuff that I'll show off to you next Sunday. But again, thank you everybody. Have a good week. I will see you next Sunday. Bye.